Well, it started for me with my salvation experience. In November, December 1980, 40 years ago, I was, up to that time, I'd been a bit of a carouser, smoking, drinking, all that sort of stuff. And in November
What year again?
1980,
Okay.
and I got hooked up with some people who had straightened out their own lives and had the willingness to spend some time with me and show me the way. And after about, when we got into December, after knowing them about 6 weeks, they thought I ought to be ready to pray the prayer of salvation, you know, turn my will over to God, turn my life over to God. And it seemed like a big step to me. It didn't seem like something that I had to do right then, you know.
Yeah.
It seemed like something I could put off for a while, maybe a long while. And I got on my motorcycle to ride home. I was still with the Outlaws at that time. And I'm joking, I wasn't an outlaw.
That's so funny.
But, and I was wearing a jacket just like this. This is one of my father's old flight jackets. I was wearing a different one, but it was just like this.
No kidding.
No kidding. And so I rode my motorcycle home, which was a garage apartment in Riverside, a very bad street in Riverside. And I pull up to the driveway, and there's some guy backing out and very slowly, and I was kind of gruff, and I said, "Hey, you want to move it or what? I live back there, pal." You know? So they back out the driveway. I pull in front of my apartment. By the time I'm off the motorcycle, that car roars back up the driveway. Two guys get out, and one of them has a shotgun.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Surrender.
Yeah, you know, just an hour earlier I had had an opportunity to pray, but at that moment I wondered if I would ever get an opportunity to pray again.
Right.
And they looked at me long enough to realize that I wasn't the guy they were after. They told me to go into my apartment, which I did. And then, you know, they blasted out, I think it was 3 or 4 shotgun blasts. They blasted out the windows of a car in front of the apartment. And a little while later, the police showed up and asked me what I had seen and what had happened. And it was after that that I got on, that I went back inside and I got on my knees and I prayed the prayer. And I believe that whole situation was God bringing me to the point to realize, you know, this is
I'll
not
get your attention.
a decision to put off. This is something you need to do. And I had a variety of other experiences shortly thereafter. It was a bad neighborhood. One day I woke up and went out to get in my car and go somewhere, and nothing happened. And I knew why nothing happened, because somebody had stolen the battery out of my car. I just knew it. And I was very angry, very upset. I wanted to choke whoever, I wanted to find whoever it was and choke them. Okay? But God gave me grace, and He reminded me of something from my past, because growing up as a teenager outside Boston, I hung with a rough crowd, and among our illegal activities, one of them was taking batteries out of people's cars.
Really?
It's one of the stupidest crimes you can commit, by the way, because, I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong. You can get acid on your hands, you know. They're heavy. You could drop it on your foot and break it, you know. And if you get away with your little crime of the century, you know, you get your battery. What do you have? You got a piece of junk that you could sell for maybe $10 or $20 if you're lucky.
Right, yeah, right. Yeah.
Really stupid. But that's what I hung out with.
Okay.
So God, when my battery was stolen, God gave me that grace to have gratitude, because I knew in my heart, and this was the grace of God, that I was better off having my battery stolen than being the punk out there stealing somebody else's battery.
That's very good, yeah.
One more, I was working at the Roosevelt Mall, buffing floors. I was a janitor, and I hated it. I hated it. So I called up the guy who had led me to the Lord, or helped lead me to the Lord, and I said, "Man, I am hating this, buffing floors and scrubbing floors, being a janitor. I hate it, you know." And I was just bored with it, and I told my friend, and he said, "Well, you know, you're a Christian now, so why don't you pray about that a little bit and see what happens?" So I prayed about it. I prayed to God. I said, "Man, I am so bored with this job. Lord, please, please, something's got to change." I went to work the next day, and I got fired.
Okay.
That was not the answer to prayer that Danny was looking for. Now, my friend, he was very quick-witted. I called him up. I'm almost in tears over losing a job that I hated. And I tell him, "Man, I did what you told me, And I went to work today and I got fired. And he's like, hallelujah, Danny. God answers prayer. You're not bored anymore, are you? True story, true story.